Hi, today we're going to compare two popular tents from NEMO, the Dragonfly Osmo two-person and the Hornet Osmo two-person. So both tents have been praised for their ultralight design and innovative features, and they are a real favorite for backpacking and bikepacking. So both of these tents are two-person, three-season tents. And starting with the Hornet is a semi-freestanding tent. And what this means that it has one pole that supports the tent, but you still need to stake it out at the front of the tent so it's fully upright. And the benefit of semi-freestanding tents are that they are lighter and great for backpacking because you just really have one primary pole to deal with. So the Dragonfly, on the other hand, is a freestanding tent. So it's fully self-supported and it doesn't need to be staked out. Freestanding tents have more interior space and better weather resistant, but they're a little bit heavier. They perform better in rain and wind because they aren't reliant on a secondary pole support. So in this video, we're going to compare internal space, trail weight, fabric, vestibule area, poles, ventilation, and price. So starting with space. So the Dragonfly is a little bit bigger than the Hornet. They have the exact same amount of height in terms of there's about 3.2 feet of head space in the tent. The floor space of the Hornet is about 7 feet by 2.5, 3.5 feet because the Hornet tapers almost kind of like a triangle shape. The Dragonfly is more of a rectangle shape. So you're going to have pretty much equal space from either side of the tent. So the floor space of the Dragonfly is about 7.3 feet by 4.1, 3.7 feet from one end to the other. So moving on. So this is what the Hornet looks like if you're lying down in the tent and you're looking up at the ceiling. And this is what the Dragonfly. So the Dragonfly definitely has more internal volume, more internal space. So the trail weight of these, the Hornet is about a pound lighter than the Dragonfly. And to my knowledge, the Hornet is the lightest tent that NEMO carries. And as you can see, both these tents, when you think about your average car camping tent, which is like 15, 20 pounds, these are really lightweight tents. And they're a little bit bigger than a water bottle. So the Dragonfly is really known for being a bike packing tent. You can see here where the Dragonfly is attached to the front of a bike, and then this is the Hornet. So getting into fabric, both of the tents are made from the Osmo fabric. So this is a blend of polyester and nylon composite. And what I really like about NEMO tents is that they are super eco-friendly. They don't have the forever chemicals, which are the PFAS. They don't have PFCs. They don't have fire retardants. They are Blue Sign approved, which basically means that they don't contain toxic chemicals. So the Hornet is 15D. The canopy is 15D nylon ripstop with the no CM mesh. The rainfly is the Osmo ripstop, and it's 1,200 millimeters in terms of its waterproof. And the floor is 1,500 millimeters in terms of waterproof. So this is how the Hornet looks. The fabric looks, if you hold your hand beneath it. The Dragonfly is pretty similar, but the canopy is not quite as thick as the Hornet. But the rainfly is a bit more water resistant than the Hornet. So the rainfly is 1,500 millimeters and the floor is 2,000 millimeters. So the floor is significantly more water resistant in the Dragonfly than the Hornet. So moving on to doors and vestibules. So they both have 2 doors, 2 vestibules, which is really great when you think about how light this tent is. I personally wouldn't recommend a 2-person tent for 2 people because it's going to get pretty tight. But if you are 2 people in this tent, then you can both enter and exit the tent without bothering the other person. So the Dragonfly has a larger vestibule by about 3 square feet. So the Hornet doesn't really. I mean, there's a little bit of a vestibule. So you see here, there's a little bit of space where you could put, say, like your shoes or some other gear. But to my knowledge, it doesn't come with like a vestibule storage container where the Dragonfly does. So this is like the vestibule, and it has this little storage tub, and you can put your stuff and you don't have to worry about it getting wet. And it's bigger. So poles. They both use the same poles. They both use DAC Featherlight NSL aluminum, which are really considered to be like one of the highest quality type pole. It's usually thicker and stronger than plain aluminum. These are also more environmentally friendly because they're made without nitric and phosphoric acid. The Hornet has one pole and the Dragonfly has two. So the Hornet, what really sets it apart is it has what's called a volumizing pole clip. So it has these clips at the top of it, which keeps the pole super, erect, and it creates as much as headspace as possible in the tent, and it distributes the fly tension evenly, which is good for ventilation. The Dragonfly has a hubbed pre-bent poles, which are also really designed to increase your volume and your headspace. So moving on to ventilation. So the Hornet has a no-seam mesh body, and the Dragonfly also has a no-seam mesh body, but it also has protected strut vents and vestibule vents. So this is a big deal because the Dragonfly is going to have better ventilation. So you can see from the Hornet doesn't have any vents in the rainfly. You're going to get your ventilation from basically the area between the tent body and the rainfly. So, condensation in the Hornet is a thing, especially in a heavy rainstorm or if it's really hot and you decide to keep your rainfly on. The Dragonfly has these really helpful protected strut vents. So you can have your rainfly on, but then you can still open up the rainfly to get some fresh air coming in. So that's really important, especially if you're dealing with a rainstorm. So in terms of price, the Hornet is a bit cheaper, but they're pretty comparable. There's like, 60 or $70 difference. Um, so let's break down how these two tents compare with each other. So the Hornet, where it really shines is it's lightweight. It's super, super easy to carry. And it also, the technology of the Osmo fabric is really it's great. It's like super weather resistant, but you're going to get that with any NEMO tent. And the Hornet is also a bit cheaper. The Dragonfly excels in that it does have a bit more space. It has a bigger vestibule. It has better ventilation, and it has better, weather resistance in terms of the rainfly and the floor fabric. So, I would say that if you are planning on hiking long distances and weight is a concern, go for the Hornet. But if you want more comfort and you want more storage and things like that, go for the Dragonfly. Thanks for watching, and hope you guys have a fun time this summer camping and enjoying one of these NEMO tents. There are tent links in the descriptions, and I would appreciate if you'd like and subscribe. Thank you.